Okay, let's go over chapter 12, section 1, active reading. Let's get right to it. Number 1, describe the structure of DNA proposed by Watson and Crick. DNA consists of two outside strands consisting of alternating deoxyribose sugars and a phosphate group. Cytosine and guanine bases pair to each other by 3 hydrogen bonds. Thymine and adenine bases pair to each other by 2 hydrogen bonds. Number 2, clarify what it means to say that the orientation of the 2 strands in the DNA molecule is anti-parallel. That one's easy. If you number the carbons in the sugar molecules on each strand of the DNA, on one end, one rail will have a 5' carbon to start with, and the other rail will have a 3' carbon to start with. So the top will go from 5' to 3', and the bottom will go from 3' to 5'. And that's what it means to be anti-parallel, if you want to call it that. Application. Apply Chargaff's rule to decide how many guanine bases a length of DNA will have if it has 26 cytosine bases. Explain. The number of guanine bases would equal the number of cytosine bases, so it would have 26 cytosine bases. To answer the question, would be 26 guanine bases, because if you remember, C's, cytosines, pair with G's, guanines, and vice versa. So if there's 26 cytosines, there's going to be 26 guanines. Now, of course, there could be exceptions, mutations, and other things like that, but in an ideal situation, just for the sake of an introductory question, we'll assume that there are the same numbers. Number 4, contrast the possible structures of DNA and RNA nucleotides. Great question. A DNA nucleotide contains deoxyribose, and one of its nitrogenous bases can be thymine. An RNA nucleotide contains ribose, and one of its nitrogenous bases can be uracil. And there's a few other differences, but we won't get into that. And lastly, number 5, address the paper published by Watson and Crick on the structure of DNA is surrounded in controversy because of the lack of credit given to the work of other scientists that helped them develop their ideas. Using the story of the discovery of the structure of DNA, assess the importance of scientists sharing information. This is a common issue, if you will, because everybody wants credit. And if you think about, I'm kind of going on a little bit of a rant here, but if you think about in today's world, this is obviously years ago when this was being discovered and looked at, but if you think of today's world and moving forward, a lot of research comes down to funding. And in order for the funding to initiate or to continue, there needs to be some discovery or promise of discovery in whatever the research is supposed to find. So things can be a little, well, I'll let you use your imagination for that. So anyway, to answer this question, obviously you guys can come up with many different varieties of this. However, science builds on itself. And so when scientists don't utilize the credit of other scientists, whether it's before them or at the same time, can you stop? All right, you guys can take a look there. I'm being interrupted. This is Mr. Case signing off.